Hi, this is Melanie of Pardesi Reviews, and I'm here to review the Kannada film Love Mocktail, starring, written, and directed by Darling Krishna. If you're new to Pardesi Reviews, I do trailer reactions and film reviews of Indian cinema. I recently saw the film Dia, which is a Kannada film, and everyone said, oh, this is the other recent Kannada film that you need to see, Love Mocktail. I have to admit, even after watching the film, I'm still not exactly sure what the title has to do with what happens in the film. So I would love you to tell me in the comments what you think it is. I mean, a mocktail is something that doesn't have alcohol in it. So is it that certain things were a substitute for the real thing along the journey of his life? I'm not sure. The movie starts with a young woman being threatened by some guys, and a bystander saves her, and then she asks him for a ride. And during their journey, this is the framing device, during the journey she asks him if he's single and what his love history is. And so he proceeds to tell her all the way from high school the loves of his life. And when I saw the description, I said, oh, this is going to be like Pray Mom. We're going to have 3 different romances at young, college, and adult, and it's going to be exactly like that. Well, not exactly. It has some similarities to the Malayalam film, but after I watched the film, I looked up an interview by Darling Krishna, and he said the inspiration for the film was the Tamil film 96, starring Vijay and Trisha. That is one of my all-time favorites, and he was really inspired by that, but wanted to tell a slightly different story, but again, you know, a great love of an ordinary person. I had never seen anything with Darling Krishna before, but evidently this is a little bit of something different than the kinds of things that he has starred in before. He kept trying to present this story to other people to make the film, and he finally decided in order to have it be what he wanted it to be, he was going to have to direct it himself. He had been an assistant director, but this is his directorial debut. I thought he did a very good job. It's not easy starring, directing the whole thing, writing the script. I thought he did very well. It's really interesting how sweet it is. And okay, so I don't want to give spoilers. We'll have a spoiler section at the end, because when we get to a certain point in the film, I'm watching it at home. It's on Amazon Prime here in the US. I assume it's on Amazon India. And I stopped the film and I said, wait a minute, we still have an hour to go. Oh, you know, I kind of then got a sense of dread, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We still have an hour more of plot to go. The teenage actors that he got when he recounts his high school days were absolutely adorable, especially the person playing the young Darling Krishna, I think he was Aadi, that was the character's name. Oh my gosh, so adorable. And then he has a young friend named Vijay. Their friendship carries on through the entire film, and that was one of the things I really liked about it, is their close friendship, how they supported each other. Interestingly, there are only in the teenage do we maybe hear parents' voices or have a mother shake him awake. But once he becomes an adult, the wider family is not at all a part of any of the love stories. Just talked about, you know, my parents want me to marry a rich guy or whatever. But to me, it was also interesting. It was just about the young people once we got out of the childhood. Into college and so forth. No parents around. You know, there's sweetness in all 3 stories, but the middle stories, the college romance, you can see a tension, and that he is just so in love, and the girl, once he gets out of college and real life hits and she's still in college and he's not making what she thinks she's going to need to live on, and her parents are pressuring her, then there's this source of conflict. I didn't see where the 3rd love story was going to be going, but it was interesting that it was really a love after marriage kind of story, which I think is unique maybe to Indian cinema. And just watching it blossom was wonderful. There were certain scenes where I thought before they absolutely got married that it could have gone either way, and I just really loved seeing it blossom. Maybe it was too sweet for every audience, but for me, those were some of my favorite scenes of them learning about each other as a married couple and really becoming a unit together. I didn't exactly see, but I dreaded where the end of the movie was going. But I thought it was very, very well done and really an enjoyable film. I'm so glad you urged me to see this film, because it was really a breath of fresh air, all fresh faces to me, and I would search out any other work by Darling Krishna, any other film that he does next, because I think he has a talent, definitely has a presence in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. This is not, not a showy kind of a film, but the cinematography was very good. He had some interesting shots, like there's a scene where, how many scenes have we have of kids on the phone, right? But we're looking through our hero's crossed legs. He's lying on a bed and he's got one leg over another knee, and we're looking through that hole. So there were just some fun little things to mix it up. Okay, so now I've said definitely worth seeing. Again, it's on Amazon Prime. Worth watching. Very enjoyable film. Now I'm going to get into a little bit of a spoiler discussion. Like I said, when I reached the hour point, I went, oh no, she's going to die. Because I was like, she was too pure for this world, okay? She was too good. Like, the only negative thing that you could say about her was that she talked too much. Like that scene where they were in the car and they'd gone to get the pani puris or whatever, and she just talked all night, and he just sat there and went, until he fell asleep. She's too pure. Something's going to happen. But I have to say, I found a couple of scenes that Darling Krishna did, which I thought his acting was so good. One was the proposal scene, which I was expecting they're just going out for a date. I mean, this is like partly my Western mentality, okay? He's finally broken it off with Joe, who has turned into a toxic girlfriend situation. Finally broken away, but not out of love with her. And then I'm like, okay, they're just having a date. And his friend Vijay keeps calling him and says, okay, give her the flowers. like prompting him and to be a good date, because he's out of practice. And then all of a sudden he pulls out the ring box and fumbles through this proposal, but she says yes. And then she explains why, because she saw how devoted he was to this toxic girl and thought to herself, if that's how good he is to someone like that, how good would he be for me? That's a gamble. I mean, this is a lifelong relationship. That's a gamble to be like, okay, he seems like a decent guy. I'm going to go for it. Wow. That was a leap, because this is not an arranged marriage thing between families. She was an orphan. He's like, well, I don't care about that. But we don't see anything with families or anything at this point. It's the friends who bring them together. I thought that was interesting. And he had met her before, but not, and she knew of his history. What didn't bother her that he had this past girlfriend. I just loved seeing them blossom together. But then the other scenes that Darling Krishna did that really I thought were exceptional is the scene when she's starting the chemotherapy. Both the scene when she finds out she has cancer and the chemotherapy when he just is losing it and has to kind of walk off because he can't put on his game face for her. He can't be supportive for her because he's breaking down. I thought he did exceptionally well. Sush as Joe, like at the beginning, she was so cute and beautiful, and then she had the right touch of darkness to her, of meanness. She handled a negative role, I thought, very well. And that, at first we're all falling in love with her too. And then it's like slowly, we're like, is this the right person for him to be with? He's so sweet. I didn't mind the fight scenes because I just thought, in a way, he was kind of playing with us and like, okay, this is what you want. I'm going to give it to you in the first 5 minutes. Here you go. And then went on with the story that he wanted to tell. And I knew when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, Nidhi was diagnosed, his wife, after the miscarriage, I was like, okay, she's definitely not going to make it. In a way, he was showing again, echoing the film that inspired him, 96, how he would just remain devoted to her. I don't know if that's the message. Definitely the college kid that he gave a ride to was not the next person for him to fall in love with, but he's, Aadi, this character, is so loving. I kind of left with a sadness that, hoping that he does find love again in his life because he deserves that. And while his love for Nidhi is beautiful, I don't feel like that should be the only love in his entire life. But that was kind of the message at the end of the film. Okay, but I hope he finds love again because I loved his character and the devotion, the love, the sweetness. Oh my gosh, wow. So thank you so much again for recommending this film. Looking forward to more recommendations of Kannada films as more and more of them are becoming available on Amazon Prime and Netflix. And since they don't really play in theaters here, it's nice to be able to catch up with some of these great films on streaming services. Let me know what you thought about Love Mocktail and what the heck the title means, because I still can't figure that one out, in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at PardeziYT and subscribe here to Pardesi Reviews. If you hit the bell when you subscribe, you'll never miss another trailer reaction or film review.